Hello and welcome to another Denis Wick interview. And today we're going to get to know Rob Miller. Full disclosure, I've known Rob a long time, many, many years. And so it's great to catch up with you, Rob. I hope things are going well.
They are indeed. Thanks. I'm delighted to be able to participate and catch up.
Absolutely. So question number one for this interview is, where do you live and why? I could answer most of these for you, I think. But anyway, for the benefit of our audience, where
Yes.
do you live and why?
I live in Canada, and I live in Canada because I was born in Canada. I live in a small place called Brampton, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto. And you and I got to meet for the first time when we were both playing in concert with the Salvation Army Mississauga Temple Band. So, and that goes back to, I think it was actually another century ago.
Yes, it
Or
is.
millennium ago or something like that. So yeah, and that's where I live. That kind of informs a little bit about what I do musically because Salvation Army is my history. And that's where I came up as a player. And yeah, that's kind of a little bit of the backstory about where. The why part is just because I don't want to move anywhere. I love my country. It's a great place to live. The weather isn't as favorable as, say, living in Florida, but then we also don't have hurricanes and other tragedies of weather and geopolitics and all kinds of stuff like that. So,
And it is a
yeah,
lovely place to live. It's a
it is.
fabulous place. You've got everything you could possibly want for there. So
Yep,
no, I can
absolutely.
very, very lovely part of the world. So that brings me on to question number two, which is, so you're very much known as a euphonium player now, but how did things start? Is that where
Well,
things began?
no, not even remotely. So, like many people that came up in the Salvation Army banding program, I started as a cornet player. Really enjoyed it, and felt that there was an opportunity. We lost in our Salian band, the Mississauga Temple Band, as mentioned previous. We lost our solo horn player, and being an average cornet player, I saw a career path opportunity and presented myself as tribute to the band and said, hey, if we need somebody that needs to play horn, I'm willing to step up and do that. And that opportunity led me to a career as a horn player, tenor horn player, with the Canadian Staff Band for a few years and enjoyed that. And my travels took me to Hamilton, Ontario, playing under David Chalk, who is a well-known or was a well-known figure before his passing. And another opportunity arose and we lost a euphonium player, and he said, would you be willing to do it? And of course, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And moved over, and I've been happily ever after on euphonium since that time. So that's back to 92 or 93, somewhere around there. And yeah, that's essentially the career path. So it's like a lot of folks, it's just, where is there a need? Where can I fit in to help out? And if there's something that that has to get resolved, send me in, coach. I'm there.
Excellent. Oh, great. Well, and that very well brings me on to my next question, which is, so is there an event that you feel improved you as a player? So was it, an experience that you had, a concert, meeting somebody? Because I guess, well, I'm not sure, when you were playing cornet and tenor horn, did you sort of have something in mind, or was it only when you went onto euphonium you thought, okay, there's something here that I can do?
That was the catalyst, really. Was moving on to euphonium. I had a really a huge stroke of luck. Ricky McDonnell was the lead euphonium with the TVNZ Waitakere City Brass Band for many years, and David Chalk was conducting them at the time. In 1995, when they successfully won enough times in a row that they had to sit out of competition, and they decided, instead of competing, which they couldn't do, they do a European tour. And I think due to a lot of different factors, he was not able to do it, but having a previous relationship and with David Chalk and his awareness that I'm a band nerd, he hit me up and said, "Hey, would you be willing to come along and play with us on this tour?" And of course, are you kidding? Yes, I would love to, because it's band, number one. And number two, it was an opportunity for me to be involved in something that I'd always only ever participated in from afar, being a fan of competition, growing up playing in solo competitions, that sort of thing from band camp. I always had the dream of being able to play in a competition. And he dangled that carrot in front of me and said, "Yeah, we're going to go over and we're going to play at this Pontins contest. Would you like to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I came over, we did a European tour, played in a competition. It was great, had some great results. And that was the thing that just kind of lit the fire for me to really keep on moving forward. Just the competitive, friendly competitive nature of brass banding. It is a bit of a blood sport, as you know, but it was awesome. I really was enthused by it, and that's just given me that rush to keep on pursuing things going forward. And that's seen me move on to playing with Weston Silver Band, doing competitive things with NABA, US Open, that sort of thing. And it's been really rewarding.
Yeah. So when was that you did the European tour? What year would that have been?
It was 1995,
Oh,
and
right.
so it was in the fall of 95. So we went to the national competition just as spectators. So we were at the Albert Hall for that. I remember Songs for BL. I remember where we sat, who was where, how everything went, and it was just awesome. In fact, I think you were doing a solo gig somewhere, and you weren't with Fairies for a show, because we did a joint show with Fairies in
Yeah.
Buxton.
I think
And
I was in Luxembourg doing a gig. Yeah.
yeah. So I missed seeing you then, and then we got to reconnect later on in
Absolutely.
Mississauga afterwards. So
Oh, that's great. So, in terms of the kit that you play on, have you got to take on your sort of combination of mouthpiece and instrument and how that works for you and why it works for you?
yeah, I'm a Yamaha euphonium guy, so I'm a Yamaha performing artist. I am obviously also a huge fan of Denis Wick products. I don't think I've ever played on anything apart from a Wick for any extended period of time. So that goes back to the good old days of cornet. I had a 4B, just nearly every other cornet player. That was my starting mouthpiece, and I played on a really nice 2 on tenor horn, which was great. But I think I've gone through all of the different Wick products until settling on whichever one felt right for me. I'm really, really happy with Yamaha as a product. Salvation Army background means I have a certain heritage of playing with Besson products. They're all great. Everybody's instruments are great. But the mouthpiece for me, I couldn't see myself ever playing on anything apart from a Wick. It's just kind of part of my DNA. But it just works. Everything that I remember the first time I played on one of the new SM series mouthpieces was, and I could be revealing something that maybe will get somebody in trouble, but I had on that same tour in 95, it was while Steve was working with Denis to design the mouthpieces, and we did another joint concert with Glasgow CWS, and Steve was working with them at the time, and we had a rehearsal. And he said, "Hey, why don't you give this a try and see what you think?" And I loved it immediately, and I was absolutely sold. And I said, "Okay, thanks, I'll take it." And he goes, "Oh, no, this is just a tester. Yeah, you can't buy, it's not for sale." And I just kept on raising the price higher and higher and higher, and he relented. So I have one of the probably missing, unserial numbered or anything like that mouthpieces that he was working with as a tester from 1995, and I've loved it ever since. Every new one that has come out, of course, you always try the newest because you're getting the benefit of new technology and improvements and materials and design. And so of course I've tried every single one, but I'm pretty happy right now with the XR. So I'm playing on a 4XR right now, and I love it. It's comfortable. What else can you say about it? You know something, it's home, it's comfortable. That's what you want.
Mm. No, exactly. And that'll explain why Stephen Mead keeps losing all his mouthpieces. That's what goes on there. I wondered why that was. Yeah. No. So, no, and he is at some point bringing out a new mouthpiece, but we're looking at that at the moment at the new development. So watch this space. There should be a new one out
Will
very
do. Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But no, that's
Another top secret project.
that's it. That's it. And so, in terms of inspiration, what would you say is your biggest? Would you say it's your peers, people that you've played next to, or is it people that you've listened to? Is it CDs, YouTube?
These days, it's ever more YouTube, because that's where you can get things very, very quickly. And if you want to see, but I love live performance. So if there's ever an opportunity, of course, I listen to every Euphonium CD that you can ever find anywhere, or on iTunes or whatever. But the most value I get is from hearing live performance. That's the most inspirational thing. I mean, anybody can sound good if you have an opportunity and time to sit in a studio and keep on doing take after take until you get it right and you get that magic. But the real energy comes from live performance, and that's the best thing. So I love watching all of the live streams that you get from competition. A lot of the live performances that we had, like the Brass Pass masterclass series, all of those things, they're simply fantastic. And where you don't get the same level of performance in the brass band idiom in North America, although it is changing, and we're seeing a lot of growth there, which I'm very, very grateful for. A lot of the standards are set over in the UK and in Europe, and seeing that kind of stuff. So the live streams, the YouTube presentations, that stuff is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Fabulous. And I wondered what you've got that's coming up over the next year that you're really looking forward to, in terms of whether it be performances or festivals that are taking place.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that are upcoming that I'm really, really jazzed about. The Salvation Army Band, we're going to be featuring in a few weeks. Concert. We've got James Morrison coming over. He doesn't need any introduction to anybody who's going to be listening to this conversation, but world-renowned trumpet, trombone, jazz, any kind of idiom. It's going to be amazing, simply amazing to have him. So that's coming up in a few weeks. Another really incredible event I'm really grateful that is happening in Toronto, middle part of May. NABA has sponsored an event we're calling the Great Canadian Brass Band Festival, which will feature community bands from all over, far and wide as people are willing to actually travel to get to Toronto and do this event. But on that event will feature, bands like Entrada Brass, Weston Silver Band, Metropolitan Silver Band. So for the people in the Toronto banding scene, you're going to hear your names shouted out there. Whitby Brass Band. There are several groups that I'm really, really excited to hear. Aurelia Silver Band. I'm going to get heat for not naming somebody, I'm sure, but it's going to be great. The gala program is going to feature the professional band that I play with, Hannaford Street Silver Band, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be that concert is going to be conducted by Philip Smith, former principal of New York Philharmonic Orchestra, and the guest soloist for that is going to be none other than Gary Curtin himself, the legend, the living legend. So it's going to be fantastic to have a great exemplar of fantastic euphonium playing for everybody in Toronto to hear. They don't have to listen to this standard. They can hear a really good standard of euphonium playing. So that will be awesome. That's coming up. And then, of course, all of the competitive events. So I feel fairly confident that we'll make a return visit with Weston Silver Band to the US Open in the fall. And hopefully we'll have another chance to go to NABA and do some other fun stuff there and compete and hopefully get some good results.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time, Rob. It's great seeing you, and
Same.
thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing this coming out on social media very soon.
Thanks ever so much, Brett. It's great to chat and connect. And thanks, Denis Wick, for everything over the years and now.
Thank you.